Yuma versus Charlie McCay. What happens when someone with even better luck than Joey Wheeler plays a gamble deck? Well, they get really lucky, obviously. Charlie draws his power from the number monster Lucky Straight, turning his dice rolls into a path for devastating OTKs. With this power, he pushes Yuma and Astral to the brink of defeat. However, spoilers, in the end, he does lose because Yuma pulls a Season 1 Yu-Gi-Oh! This time not attacking the moon, but the sun, which turns out to be the source of Lucky Straight's power. But that does make me wonder, with any alternative changes to plays with less or more luck, could the outcome of this duel have been different? And while we're at it, we'll take a quick look at the disgusting fodder opponent he crushes right before facing Yuma. So, without further ado, let's jump into the duels. We join the duel on the final turn of the duel. Charlie draws and gets reload. The field currently consists of only 2 set cards on Charlie's side of the field, Dream Dice and Triple Ace. He has 3 mysterious cards in his hand and a mere 100 life points left. The opponent has all his life points, controls 3 monsters on the field, Kachikochi Dragon, Thunder End Dragon and Daigusto Phoenix, all in attack position, but all with no Xyz materials attached to them, implying that they've all been used throughout this duel, meaning he's gone all out and somehow he still hasn't won. I just want to just point out, that means that Charlie has survived Thunder End Dragon, destroying all other monsters on the field twice. Kachikochi, after destroying a monster, has attacked again in a row. That monster's done that twice. And Daigusto Phoenix, by detaching the material, can attack twice. It's attacked 4 times at least over the course of this duel. I would go as far as to say that the opponent is a terrible duelist for not winning with all this out the way, but I guess you should probably just say Charlie is just very lucky to still be alive at this point in the duel. Anyway, Charlie activates his reload spell. This card shuffles his entire hand back into the deck and allows him to draw the same amount of cards he shuffled back. He shuffles in the 3 cards in his hand and draws 3 new cards. He gets 3 copies of Dice Leveler. This is very lucky because he activates his set card, Triple Ace, which lets him special summon 3 level 1 monster in his hand with the same name. He summons all 3 of his Dice Levelers to the field. Next, he uses all 3 Dice Levelers effects. Once per turn, they can roll a 6-sided die. Until the end phase, their levels are increased by the roll value. All 3 roll, and luckily, all 3 get a 6, making all of them level 7 monsters. Now, with 3 level 7 monsters on the field, he overlays all 3 to Xyz summon his ace monster, number 7, Lucky Straight. This monster's effect is it cannot be destroyed by battle, except by a number monster. During either player's battle step, if this card battles, you can detach 1 material from this card, roll a 6-sided die, and this card's attack becomes equal to the result times 700 until the end of the battle phase. With Lucky Straight on the field, Charlie follows up by activating his other face down, Dream Dice. This lets him roll a 6-sided die. If the result is 6, the attack of all face-up monsters the opponent controls becomes 0. Any other result means all of his monsters' attacks become 0. Charlie rolls, and yet again, luckily it lands on 6. All 3 of the opponent's monsters' attacks drop to 0. Charlie moves into his battle phase and orders Lucky Straight to attack. As he does, he activates its effect. He rolls a die to determine how much attack Lucky Straight's attack will be multiplied by. Of course, luckily, he gets the best result, a 6. So its attack is sextupled, making it 4,200. Since the opponent's monster has 0 attack, they take 4,200 damage and instantly lose the duel in an OTK. Charlie wins. So, could the fodder enemy have done anything? Not really. That's insane levels of luck. Basically, all of Charlie's deck revolves around you have to get a 6, any other result it doesn't work. Most of the time, and it's always going to land on 6, basically. Without knowing much about what happened before, sadly, we don't know what could have been. The only thing that the fodder enemy could have done, in hindsight, was have all of his monsters switch into defense. This way, when Charlie does his counter-attack, there's no way he can go for game. But because we don't know how the last turn went, there might have been a ton of monsters on the field, so we have to go all out to get rid of those. we don't know what could have happened. So yeah, there was nothing he could do. There was no way this duel really could have gone any different apart from Charlie just being unlucky. Unlucky results would have just meant he would have lost the duel. Simple as that. But yeah, let's move on to the main event, shall we? The duel begins and Yuma goes first. He draws, and his opening hand consists of Go-Go-Go Golem, Zubaba Knight, Gumbara Knight, Gagaga Magician, Commander of Swords, and Nitwit Outwit. Yuma sets his Go-Go-Go Golem face down, along with his Nitwit Outwit trap, and ends his turn. Knowing that the opponent got OTK'd because they left a monster in attack in the last duel, having a monster in defense is a good play by Yuma. This is a good first turn, especially since Go-Go-Go Golem can tank and attack once. It can't be destroyed by battle once per turn. So this is a good play. Let's see how it goes. It's Charlie's turn, and he draws. His opening hand consists of 2 copies of Dice Leveler, Majestic Jester, Take a Chance, Monster Slots, and Dice Crisis. Charlie starts by activating his continuous spell, Take a Chance. While this card is on the field, during each of Charlie's turns, he can roll a die. If the result is 6, his life points are multiplied by 5. Any other result returns his life points back to the amount he had when this card was activated. As well, this card then can't be activated again, and now he must take 1,000 damage during each of his standby phases. And so, right out the gate, Charlie abuses his luck. He uses Take a Chance's effect, and of course rolls, and luckily gets a 6. His life points are quintupled, making them 20,000. Following this, he summons his Majestic Jester. While it has 0 attack points, its effect allows it, when it battles, to roll a die. If the result is 6, the monster that it battles is destroyed. Otherwise, destroy this card. And so, Majestic Jester attacks Yuma's set Go-Go-Go Golem. Majestic Jester's effect activates, and luckily, Charlie rolls a 6. So, Go-Go-Go Golem is destroyed. Charlie moves into his main phase 2 and sets Dice Crisis face down and ends his turn. It's Yuma's turn, and he draws Monster Slots. Yuma summons his Gagaga Magician to the field and then activates Monster Slots. This spell lets Yuma target one monster he controls. He must then banish one monster in his grave with the same level. By doing this, Yuma can then draw a card. If the card drawn is the same level as the monster on his field and that he banished, he can summon the drawn card straight to the field. Otherwise, both the drawn card and the monster on his field are also banished. Yuma targets his level 4 Gagaga Magician on the field, banishes his level 4 Go-Go-Go Golem in the grave, and then draws and gets, unluckily, a level 3 monster, Gagaga Girl. So, Gagaga Magician on the field and Gagaga Girl in the hand are both banished. With no more plays, Yuma is forced to end his turn here. Just to state the obvious, there wasn't really any other plays that Yuma could have done here. He could have just summoned a monster into defense, but the whole point of Monster Slots is to get lucky, so you just gotta go for it sometimes, and unfortunately, it just didn't work out for him. It's Charlie's turn, and he draws Release Change. He activates the effect of Take a Chance again. He rolls and luckily gets a 6 again. So his life points are quadrupled again, making them 100,000. With 100,000, Charlie McCay is officially the duelist with the highest life points ever in the franchise at this point in the series. He will get beat and will become overall, I think, the second highest life point character ever, but the person that's going to beat him is actually Don 1000, who gets 102,900 life points, so only just beat him. Fun fact. Charlie follows up his play by activating Release Change. By tributing a monster, he can summon a monster in his hand with the same level. He tributes the level 1 Majestic Jester to special summon the level 1 Dice Leveler in his hand. Next, Charlie activates his own Monster Slots. He targets his level 1 Dice Leveler on the field, banishes the level 1 Majestic Jester in his grave, and then draws a card, and luckily gets a level 1 monster, Dice Leveler. It is summoned to the field. Charlie wraps up this play by normal summoning his final copy of Dice Leveler in his hand. He uses all 3 of their effects. He rolls a die for each, and everyone luckily gets a 6. With 3 level 7 monsters on the field, he overlays all 3 to Xyz summon his number 7 Lucky Straight. Charlie enters his battle phase and attacks Yuma directly. He uses the effect of Lucky Straight by detaching a material. He, again, luckily rolls and gets a 6, so its attack is sextupled. If this attack is successful, Charlie will win the duel. However, Yuma activates his set card, Nitwit Outwit. By discarding a card, he can reduce the damage from a direct attack by the sent monster's attack points. Yuma discards Zubaba Knight. The damage is reduced by 1600, meaning while Yuma takes the first damage of the duel, doesn't lose this turn. As the battle phase comes to an end, Lucky Straight's attack returns to normal. Charlie, with no more plays, ends his turn. It's Yuma's turn, and he draws Kage Tokage. Yuma summons his level 4 Gambara Knight to the field. Since a level 4 monster was summoned, the effect of Kage Tokage summons itself to the field. Now, with 2 level 4 monsters on the field, he overlays them both to summon his rank 4 ace monster, number 39 Utopia. Yuma moves into his battle phase and orders Utopia to attack Lucky Straight. Now, something a little bit odd about this play, Charlie doesn't use his Lucky Straight's effect in response to Utopia attacking, because obviously with roll a 6, he would get 4,200 attack points. Utopia would crash into it and destroy itself. That seems like the best play, and obviously he'd win. But he chooses to use his set card in a second instead. I can only assume attack, boost the attack, Utopia uses its ability to negate the attack, and then he could just keep doing that to get rid of all the materials on Lucky Straight. And that's how Yuma could win, while also exploiting the luck kind of thing. So that's why I think Charlie resorts to using his set card instead of using his ability. I think so. Let's see how it plays out. Charlie, in response to the attack, activates Dice Crisis. This card lets him roll a die when an opponent's monster declares an attack. If the result is 6, this card equips itself to the opponent's attacking monster. It then has its attack reduced to 0 and is moved to Charlie's side of the field. If this card is removed from the field, Utopia returns back to Yuma's control with its attack restored. Charlie rolls and of course, luckily gets a 6. Utopia moves to Charlie's side of the field, however its attack is reduced to 0. Yuma unfortunately moves into his main phase 2, sets his Commander of Swords trap face down, and ends his turn. It's Charlie's turn, and the penultimate turn of the duel. Just as he's about to draw, Yuma activates his Commander of Swords trap. This card can only be activated while there is a light warrior type monster on the field. At the start of the opponent's draw phase, they must reveal the card they draw. If it is a spell or a trap, apply one of the following effects. Either destroy the revealed card, or destroy one spell or trap the opponent controls. Charlie draws and gets the continuous spell, Sunscale. Charlie freely reveals to Yuma Sunscale's effect. This card lets him roll a die every turn. If he gets a 6, it destroys all monsters the opponent controls. Otherwise, a monster on Charlie's field is destroyed instead. If Sunscale is destroyed at any point, it inflicts 500 damage to the opponent. Now, at first it seems silly that Yuma thinks the right answer here is to destroy the other trap so he can get his Utopia back so he can go on the offensive. But then with Sunscale, as we've seen throughout the course of these last 2 duels, he's always winning these dice rolls. So he's just going to destroy Utopia instantly. So you would need to get rid of the Sunscale, right? That makes the most sense. But I guess Yuma's still under the impression that his luck has to run out at some point. That card requires luck, the other one doesn't, so I should get rid of that card, I guess. Yeah, I think that's the logic why he didn't go for Sunscale immediately. It doesn't really matter, because at this point, some out-of-duel shenanigans are revealed. Yuma's One-chan, Kari, gives him a call and gives Yuma and Astral a hint about what is happening in this duel.
There's a saying that goes with that card. As long as the sun that shines stays complete, I never have to fear defeat.
Okay, what does that mean?
Astral realizes that Sunscale is the source of Lucky Straight's luck. And so, instead of getting Utopia back, Yuma destroys Sunscale in his hand. This moment is shown as Utopia attacking the sun in a possible homage to Giant Soldier of Stone attacking the moon. Due to this, Charlie's lucky streak is now broken. Yuma takes 500 damage due to Sunscale's effect. Fun fact, if you wonder why this card has a random tacked on ability that deals 500 damage if it's destroyed, it's so that it can actually put Yuma below 1,000 life points because he's going to win the duel using number C39 Utopia Ray, and you can't have that card on the field in the anime unless you have 1,000 or less life points. So, fun fact, it's kind of the plot. Charlie activates the effect of Take a Chance. hoping to roll a 6 again and quintuple his life points to 500,000. However, he rolls and unluckily gets a 1. Charlie's life points return to what they were when this card was first played. Charlie didn't need to go for this. 100,000 life points is more than enough life points for you, sir. I mean, it would have been cool to get 500,000 life points, but he could have just sat on this. He didn't have to risk it, but he didn't know his luck streak had ended. So yeah, if you think you have all the luck in the world, you're going to go for it anyway, so it's not a misplay. Now, for some strange reason, Charlie doesn't attempt to attack Yuma directly here with Lucky Straight. Yuma only has 900 life points left, so he doesn't even need to get that lucky. He just needs to roll a 2 to get his monster up to 1400 attack and win the duel. Why didn't he try to win the duel here? Yuma has nothing on his side of the field, so what's the deal? Well, I just quickly checked to make sure I hadn't made a mistake. Anime Lucky Straight, you see its full effect, and it does state during either player's battle step, if this card battles, you don't specifically have to attack a monster to get the attack boost. So yeah, I can only assume that Charlie has resided in his mind. He's like, my lucky streak's ended. I'm not going to even get a 2. I'm going to get another 1 in this one. So I'm screwed. But I feel like this would have made sense to do. Like the last dice roll failed, but then we're like, we'll do it again. We roll, we get a 1 again, so it's not enough to win the duel. I don't know. I feel like we could have done one more die roll here, but regardless, Charlie only would have won if he would have rolled a 2 or higher, which is statistically very possible. Not impossible though, of course, but yeah. I wonder if the animators just forgot. Just like, we don't need to put it in. I wonder. Anyway, it's Yuma's turn and the final turn of the duel. He draws and gets the most lucky anime-specific card ever, Comeback. He activates it. This card lets him take control of an opponent's monster that he is the original controller of. It's a hyper anime specific card and it was a top deck luck thing. This is the kind of duel where you're allowed to get away with something like that. It makes sense. Utopia returns to Yuma's side of the field. Yuma Chaos Xyz evolutions it into number C39 Utopia Ray. Its effect is it cannot be destroyed by battle except with a number. If your life points are 1000 or more, destroy this card. You can detach 1 Xyz material from this card. It gains 500 attack, and one of your opponent's monsters loses 1000 attack until the end phase. Yuma uses this effect 3 times in a row by detaching all of its materials. Its attack increases by 1500. Lucky Straight's attack is reduced by 3000. Yuma enters his battle phase and attacks Lucky Straight with Utopia. Charlie doesn't even bother attempting Lucky Straight's effect, and so it's destroyed. Charlie takes 4000 damage, and Yuma wins the duel. Yet again, another quite simple duel. There isn't actually that much room for different plays, especially from Charlie's side. Like, he had a very specific plan that he went with, and there was nothing really else he could have done. I mean, he could have sat on his 0 attack point monster, and then if he just never got that sun scaled, he would never have lost his lucky streak, and he could just have kept attacking with that 0 attack point monster, and eventually get out his other monsters, possibly. But no, there wasn't really too much else he could have done. As for Yuma, I need to see what other rank 4 monsters he had in his extra deck at this point, because maybe he could have gone for something to destroy Lucky Straight or steal Lucky Straight if he had that ability. But no, there wasn't really much else he could have done, so no real misplays from Yuma either. The duel ended exactly how it would have. Charlie could have won if he attempted to attack Yuma directly, but he never did, so yeah. It's just one of those weird duels, I guess. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out one of these videos if you want to watch a little bit more, and subscribe. It means the world to me, and we're getting so much closer to 400,000 subscribers. I can't wait to get there. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Catch you later. Bye, everyone.